Definitely do, and I love the immediate ban from OMG here. Jiang taking away that Alistar, and it goes without saying, when Marta's only played one other champion so far, and the Alistar has been his primary choice, you should take that away from an undefeated RNG.
Certainly should, as Ari is also going to be the ban there from Royal. Trundle will join in as well, and we've had Lysandra and Gangplank follow the rest of the bans there for OMG, so nice and quick there.
Yeah, getting all of the bans out of the way. Lysandra is another one that you'll see creep up in the ban list at the moment, you would have to say. First and foremost, no one realized Lysandra was a thing.
Yep.
And then they all just started realizing that she's pretty much Lulu, but with damage and less utility and engage, and have to get rid of it now.
Yeah, have to. But there is a Lulu response, of course, from OMG with Ryze, the final ban there. Sorry, for oh my god, as RNG did final ban away Ryze. Lulu, you just mentioned it then. Not Lysandra, of course. She's banned away, but a nice, strong, flexible first pick.
Yeah, definitely.
And Poppy Thresh from Royal.
Wow.
Martin not going to be on the Poppy support today.
That is a crazy first draft here. You'd have to say, though, going for the Thresh with the Poppy indicates they know exactly where they want those champions to be. They're not looking to even flex in that draft. Just the last pick that I would wager Xiaohu will have away from the mid lane, as OMG with the Lulu, you don't know where it's going yet either.
No, certainly don't, as OMG are filling out the rest of their draft. Looks like they might keep things pretty ambiguous here for the solo lanes, as at least in a Braum are currently being hovered. But I love this pickup for Looper. I have to assume it's his Poppy with the Thresh selected already. But Looper has been messing people up in games. Whether it's Quinn or Poppy, he's been absolutely wrecking face.
He definitely has been. Looper's the one to look out for in that late game stage. The teleport ganks are devastating, especially from a Poppy. So RNG, they've got the makings of a good team comp thus far, and we'll see where they go to from here.
Well, I do like to pick away, of course. Graves been taken by OMG, and that is going to be Tristana picked up for SMLZ again. Like you mentioned, one of the highlights of SMLZ's recent play has been that Tristana that seems to fit him oh so well. But Xiaohu's already locked in that Nidalee. MLXG is not curbing any aggression.
No, I honestly don't think he should be curbing any aggression, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't think it's an off-button type of feature. He only has one mode, and it's go in. Nidalee suits that to a T, since the Graves is taken away from him anyway.
There's Misfortune as well. Still rather strong here. Been a relatively popular pick, despite having some changes on 6.1. I believe we're still on 5.24.
Yeah.
So Misfortune is a little bit more beefed up here, but hasn't been, you know, first pick or ban, hasn't been super contentious in a lot of these drafts, but is certainly a good pick.
There's always something that, I'm not going to say sneaks under the radar by any means, but is always relevant in team compositions where AoE is necessity, essentially. So the Misfortune's going to be there. They have a Nidalee jungle. They don't have the Graves for the wave clear, and so it's much more suited to having a champion like Misfortune in that AD carry position, opposed to something like maybe an Ezreal.
Well, there's Nautilus Braum, actually, so they will take the support they hovered earlier, but I believe top lane Nautilus, excuse me, will make another appearance here in the LPL. Koro has started something. V followed, and now we are going to get Xiang playing it as well. Big tanky guy up in that top lane.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a trend that we're seeing more and more of here, Nautilus top, and it's not the kind of champion that loses lane to Poppy, but Poppy holds her own in that 1v1 top lane. Poppy always holds Poppy's own because she's Poppy.
Yep.
But Nautilus is always going to be useful by having that ultimate there for engage. It's guaranteed, will knock them up, and sets up the rest of his team well.
Well, I don't mind it against a lot of, I guess, the squishier team comps we have been seeing. We've been seeing 2.5 to 3 carries in a lot of these comps with the jungle meta shifting relatively rapidly. So, makes some sense there. Definitely want some big super tanks. We can see that from the Braum Nautilus, and to some extent the Thresh here as well, and of course the Poppy from Royal. They are considering their last pick, of course. They looked at Ezreal. Xiaohu had a good game on it last week, but he's going to go for LeBlanc here instead.
Yeah, picking up the LeBlanc, and my only real concern for this RNG side would be the wave clear if they're ever losing, or they have the third tower push that happens in the middle lane after getting the outers. So lane swaps, you would have to say OMG would be the ones putting it into effect. They've got the super tank Nautilus, the self-sufficient jungler in Graves, and they've got a Tristana who can take down turrets exceptionally well. Lulu, who's always self-sufficient in that middle lane in a 1 versus 1. So OMG with the onus of the lane swap, RNG with the capabilities to skirmish them out of the park.
Well, we'll see how that happens as we do get into the game, but we'll go through the lineups once again. Nautilus, Graves, Lulu, Tristana, and Braum there for OMG, with Poppy, Nidalee, LeBlanc, Misfortune, and Thresh there for Marta. Going to be rounding that out for Royal.
Yeah, very crazy composition here from RNG. Damage everywhere.
Yes.
MLXG, he can afford to be aggressive. Looper can back him up. And Zhao, who's also very quick at rotating. So RNG's team composition, if they're ever ahead, probably going to stay there.
Yep, and eyes definitely have to be on the jungle as per usual here for Royal, but especially with another jungle change here for OMG. We heard that TBQ might be coming. We saw Fishball play earlier in the week. Now another jungler has stepped in there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out. We will see the teams once again double checking those bans and of course seeing these picks. I like the comps, honestly, for both teams. I think they've drafted quite well.
They have drafted well and very unique in the way that they've both drafted.
Well,
so we'll see how it goes.
We certainly will. Let's get ourselves onto the Rift. And here we are moving out as OMG versus RNG will kick off day 2 of week 2 of the LPL. OMG, like we said, made a lot of changes after a decent start to their LPL season at 1-1, but RNG do remain 2-0 and undefeated so far. See if they can carry momentum from week 1 here as OMG again, as almost always, grouping up for that early vision.
As they should be, of course. Getting the ward that MLXG did place down, so no vision for MLXG. He has to immediately leave that jungle area and just assume they're all going to be there. But tit for tat, as you usually will see, except for Looper, who's a little bit crazy with that ward at blue buff, unspotted.
Ran all the way down there, snuck in to put a ward at that very popular intersection, and he's actually moving his way towards the bottom half, although drifting towards mid now, so could be calling an audible. You mentioned the lane swap earlier. We'll see where these lanes do settle here, as OMG are yet to really move into any definitive spot. In fact, they're pretty much just invading this red buff.
But you do see, of course, SMLZ and 5 on the top side of the map. The intention of the lane swap, of course, is to have Ziyang sit with Quan, get that red buff. And I mean, I'm not entirely sold on them holding hands as a 4-man. They could look to even put a freeze into effect, get a minion stack on that top wave, but instead they're just giving an amazing leash.
Yep, as you can see, they are going to swap things up here. Looper actually going to be a little late to whatever he wanted to be, but teams are starting on the opposite side of red buff, so kind of a weird vertical jungle start here, but things should level up pretty quickly as Wush and Might are going to come to this lane and just sort of let it chill for a little bit.
Yeah, basically, standard lane swap at the moment. Nobody really looking to avoid it, I guess, or looking to match it here from RNG. Instead, they're content with having it. They were all starting with the jungle together anyway, so the assumption was there based off OMG's invade. And now playing towards that strong side of the map again, the only concern I have is starting at the red buff, the enemy red buff, then having to go back to your blue, Gromp, and maybe Wolves. You might not be looking to fast push the turret. Instead, I would imagine they're just going to reset it, let it freeze, whereas RNG are playing towards the other side of the map as well. So rotation speed-wise, they're going to be quite slow at getting these turrets.
Yeah, it's a little wonky, but see exactly how it all works out, as we did see Shahu and Icon having a bit of a duel there in the mid lane. Shouldn't see too many fireworks here. Just probably quite a lot of farming. Lulu, relatively safe into most assassins.
Safe to an extent, of course. If you ever fall behind as Lulu, you stay there. And it's very difficult to then get out of that hole that you put yourself in. So essential that Icon does well in this 1v1 in the middle lane. Any jungle pressure could prove devastating.
Certainly could, as we do actually have 3v0 in 2 different lanes. So bit of an adaptation. You've started to see a little bit of this in the lane swap meta. Junglers not joining in just now. In fact, they're coming quite late, if at all. But it looks like towers are going to get traded here. Tristana probably a little bit faster, given that she's Tristana. But once again, could just be some out of turrets going down. And very normal stuff here in the first 4 minutes or so of the game.
It's funny, I'm finding this is a very unique to LPL type of strategy, is the junglers never join the 4v0 type of split push that we used to see. It's always a 3-pair person. And then, more often than not, they give the solo gold to the top laner, but in this case, they're all going to match it, and now, most likely, Rick will go back to the opposite lanes, and the dance begins again.
Certainly does. We'll see if we get hyper-aggressive down the mid lane. That's usually the big point to break, because it's pretty hard to get a mid lane trade. You can see this lane here just hanging out. Shouldn't be particularly easy to break a Lulu, but We'll see where the teams do want to go, but like you mentioned, seems like we're just going to play swapsies at this point. Dual lanes are going to move back, although SMLZ actually going towards the top side might be looking to challenge, and we could even have inverted standard lanes here.
Look at Woosh's item build.
What
are you doing?
He wants to go real fast.
But he's now about to find Tristana, who has a pickaxe, and very quickly realize that as fast as you may run, you can't out-trade them in auto attacks, which is your defined purpose as a misfortune. So,
well,
interesting.
Maybe he's taking Marta's advice a little too seriously. That is some epic rotational speed with those Swifties as Icon and Xiaohu duking it out once again. Nice polymorph there from Lulu as we do have a gank coming in. Quan is going to move through. Five will nail that, and Xiaohu is dead. First blood goes to Lulu.
That is a very, very dead Xiaohu. OMG, they get that rotation, and it's the lane you always question. When do we go mid? Well, they found out.
Yeah, Lupa hook back there as well. Actually having a bit of trouble here up against Xiang. Grasp of the Undying will proc for Nautilus, and Lupa will not die, but he should be forced away here. Yeah,
Grasp of the Undying is an obnoxious mastery, especially with these top laners. You're seeing it on basically everyone at the moment in that top lane. See, SMLZ, of course, has 5 here now to hold his hand, and the control of this lane, you would have to say, will begin to favor OMG again.
Yeah, I like what OMG actually did here. Instead of going for that tower trade, they say, you know what, let's just bring the standard lanes back, protect our tower, because your dual lane has to be in the unsafe lane, and we're very safe here with this turret. So watch for potential ganks there. Even Graves right now is moving in. Marta actually going to move into ward by the looks of things, and Rift Herald, not just yet here.
The ward spotted him, and there's a teleport really deep into RNG's jungle.
That's pretty ambitious perhaps, but good flash out there from Marta, going to try and save the AD carry. This is actually Xiang, never mind. So he's going for the real big cutoff here as Marta could be the first target. Quan will move in, the autos there need one more as there's the stun as SMLZ now going to follow in. Marta hooks away to the Herald. Quan's going to flash over there. The Herald is very angry, going to slap Quan right in the face. And Marta going on quite a journey here, but the smoke screen might just be enough. The damage is there, the Q lands from there, and SMLZ is going to pop over to pick it up.
No safety there for Marta because he is on the wrong side of the map. Xiang has still been dancing with Woosh.
Ooh. Barely misses MLXG there. This could be a problem. Woosh did find some safety though, also having another battle in the mid lane. Icon, good juke of the chain, and now going to pop the ultimate. Might just go aggressive. Ignites will get burned. Xiaohu might just have enough damage here though. Icon looking to go in for it. He does get it, shields himself, and gets a solo kill this time.
Icon gets the first kill, recalls and consolidates, even with basically the same items. The key difference was the Doran's ring, that extra health. Weird play from Icon, I'm going to say. Uses the ultimate, ignites Xiaohu before the passive procs, and then stands still. And waits to see which one is ignited before chasing them down. So, effective play. It looked a little bit funny, but the result is all that matters.
Certainly does here as OMG, after a blisteringly fast start at this point, 3-0. Still defending in this lane swap in top lane as well. I agree with you. I'm not sure if Woosh is quite as sold on his Swifties first now. Probably expecting there to be 1-0 champions in that lane. As Lupa does get some good damage down onto Xiang. Level 6 actually for the Poppy. They're starting to bully the Nautilus, who did use that teleport.
Yeah, we saw the Nautilus bullying Lupa out not too long ago, but having to use that teleport in an attempt to get a gank in the top lane. Didn't even get an assist. In fact, was dealing with boots of swiftness Woosh, who just kind of walked past him, which was great. He literally just walked past him and pressed W and was like, see you later, buddy. Of course, meanwhile, you did have a freeze, as Lupa could be in trouble.
Yeah, climb down the bottom. Oh. Good ulti. Just pops Graves all the way back to base. And that is going to be Lupa, just safe and sound.
It's going to die.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, that was close. Xiang, struggling is the one word that you can use to describe this. As we were mentioning, when he teleported, Lupa had a freeze the entire time. Worked that back towards the turret of Xiang, and this is why the trades have been going so unfairly for this Nautilus.
Yeah, they're not going to get any better anytime soon as Lupa gets himself a Barmy Cinder and another non-magic man. Sorry, the non-magic mantle he already had. MLXG and Woosh are going to team up for this dragon. Should be relatively straightforward here for Nidalee. 5 in the area, but no vision there for OMG. That's going to give them dragon number 1.
Yeah, they find their first dragon. Not something that RNG have been big on controlling dragons, as they like to end their games very early. Average game time 24 minutes, and the hook's on.
Good hook there, level 4 Braum. Not too tanky, but pops up the Unbreakable as Icon looks to chase in now as well. No slows forthcoming, a triple ward in that brush just to really protect it. And looks like all the fun will dissipate there in the river.
All I want to see now is Marta to go back at a pink ward and just run straight towards the bush. Make and bank.
Make all that bank as Whoosh needs to take that lance, and ulti will follow, but that's a long way away. And Whoosh and his Swifties will make it pretty trivial to get away there.
It's just so amusing to see Boots of Swiftness on Misfortune this early. Of course, the Lantern is what saves him, not the ability to run at 20 units faster than he otherwise normally would be. So, Whoosh gets out with his life.
That'll be truly comical if Anola's ultimate Misfortune just starts running away. Eventually, I don't know how far she's going to get. It eventually finds you, right?
That would be a clown fiesta, man.
It would be. Well, Whoosh and Marta return to their bottom lane, though. I'm going to start farming things up here. SMLZ is tracking this lane, so OMG are trying to keep the lanes standard after those first few towers have fallen. So not seeing the usual 2 towers fall, I suppose, is one of the earliest things here. As Loop has gone for a look in the mid lane, isn't going to find anything. Xiaohu getting aggressive there as well, but 10 minutes in, it's just OMG really with 1,000 gold up from those 3 kills.
Yeah, we said earlier, when a Lulu's behind, definitely stays behind. But when a Lulu's ahead, the damage is surprising. And the carry potential from Icon right now is massive. 2-0 on this Lulu. And the early game for a middle laner being self-sufficient, because you usually see focus on the outer lanes as we have lane swaps, control on the Rift Herald or the Dragon, and just trying to take down those turrets as objectives. Things start to get really weird and tricky for Xiaohu right now. As speaking of controlling side lanes, you're pushing Jiang.
Could be tricky for him then, as he's trying very hard. Not to make it obvious that he doesn't want to die, but he's going to face check Lupin and MLXG. Spear will land in. Damage as good as he flashes out. Lupin not there in time to make sure he can't get out with a W, and that's going to be Xiang just using the summoner there.
Yeah, gets the flash out of the Nautilus. Can be a repeat offense here as... Ooh, oh, it connected.
Good Q there, landing in the Lantern. Not enough distance this time, but not fast enough, actually, to chase the Swiftness Boots Misfortune. Icon forced to flash now in the mid lane. It's actually Xiaohu still in the matchup, starting to apply a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that was actually quite on point.
Well, does have his ulti, so Icon probably safe, but Xiaohu now going to find a jungler, might need the chance. Does land it. Icon looking to move back in, but Xiaohu has to get away out from end of the line.
Dead.
He's going to move back in though. Looper is going to do the wraparound with the teleport, and that's going to be Whoosh actually with the kill on Misfortune.
Whoosh picks up the kill with that ultimate. MLXG was looking menacing with the spear as well. Doesn't even connect as he dies too quickly here, Quan. And OMG, they're starting to fall under pressure at the moment. Xiaohu winning in a 1v1 scenario. Dangerous game here for OMG to play.
You can see the pressure now mounting on this mid lane. Any damage you can get on that tower versus a Lulu is incredibly valuable. So seems like Whoosh is putting those 50s to use at least. Running around all over the place. It's actually top lane they're going to go next.
It's actually comical to consider like, that he is running this fast, right? The best part is they're not looking for the 2v2. Yeah. He's gone for the Boots of Swiftness. Oh, Jiang dodges it.
Actually does get out of the way of the spear. Forced to pop the ulti though as Marta. He's going to line up a hook. MLXG going to move back in. Xiang does not have long left. That hook goes a little through him, but MLXG does still collect it.
Jiang with the fancy feet is one way to describe that. Dodges the flay, dodges the hook, but is still getting auto-attacked by a Nidalee and a Misfortune. So there's only so many times you can dodge until you die. And unfortunately for him, he dodged one too many times.
Well, didn't have enough there as we're going to have Graves clean up the minions here in top side, but Whoosh is gone again. BF Sword's now been picked up here. Does have Caulfield's hammer up as well. So it needs to be the Essence Reaver early. MLXG. Oh, there we go.
Really struggling.
Bit of a battle there with the old red buff. Has picked up his jungle item now as well, so jungling speed going to increase pretty swiftly here. As 5 does tag Looper with a Q, but going to clear out a pink instead. Looper also rocking some Boots of Swiftness. And it seems like RNG maybe have taken their rotational-based playstyle perhaps a bit too far. I guess we'll find out soon.
Look, I understand it 100% on Looper. He's against the Nautilus, who uses that Riptide religiously. Lulu is also a slow-based champion, as is Braum. So ideally, they all get Boots of Swiftness in this game. You can't use Merc Treads on a Nautilus anyway.
Well, not Marta at least, who's sticking to his guns. Going for those Boots of Mobility as 5 is going to clear a pink here on the right-hand side of mid lane. Dragon back up in a minute. So RNG could look to get in for number 2 if they feel like it. But like we've said, don't tend to worry too much about the Dragons until we get to that 4 or 5 mark, or close to them at least.
Yeah, definitely right. But RNG having that first early Dragon could indicate the lack of emphasis on it. But at this stage, having a look at the control of the map, OMG pushing this middle turret.
Yeah, and this is what you mentioned, that lack of wave clear is going to hurt them here. 5 strong there as MLXG is actually going to get grabbed up. Ulti's there. 5 actually gets the kill. Easy as you please, and that tower's going to fall as well. OMG still moving ahead in gold. Still only 1,000 up actually after training some kills, but making progress here.
And that was a massively deleted Nidalee right there.
Yeah.
Basically did not exist. 15 seconds to the Dragon. Another free objective here, given that MLXG is dead. If OMG wish to take it, doesn't look like RNG are putting any emphasis on trying to defend that whatsoever. In fact, getting vision around the Rift Herald.
I just feel like Whoosh is maybe taking up a new career as a jungler. He has been moving between lanes so much this game with Marta. Even takes the Rift Herald there. And that could mean OMG, if you don't fancy starting this Dragon just yet, want to consolidate their position. SMLZ actually went back, put himself a Zeal before finishing that, I assume, Infinity Edge. He's going to have a nice boost of early stats here if there is any sort of fight that breaks out. Although Lupa is looking for Icon. Pops the W, he's going to move in with the charge. No stun forthcoming.
Oh, Lupa.
And Icon disengages, missing that ulti.
Yeah, the ultimate doesn't knock him up. So very easy getaway here for Icon as he just loops back around, comes back in the middle lane, continues wave clear duty, which is what he was doing anyway. As not having that ultimate available for Poppy, you would assume RNG would not be confident. But here they are, no emphasis on Dragon.
Yeah, and this is with almost no vision control, so very bold move there, but they get away with it this time. SMLZ going to eat the Thunderlords.
It's also worth noting that OMG didn't have vision control themselves. It was cleared by RNG. They didn't place deep vision before they started the Dragon, but they cleared the neutral vision. And at 15 minutes in the game and at Nidalee doing the Dragon essentially by herself, OMG are none the wiser. They're not going to suspect that it's being done or outwardly attempt to stop it. But the lack of emphasis entirely is dangerous.
Good check there by Marta, using that Dark Passage to investigate the brush. Did find a jungler. And that will, once again, disarm any sort of aggression here in that bottom side. Whoosh, like I mentioned, starting to power up a bit as well. So everyone's moving in towards their first few items. In fact, we have a bit of a change in that mid lane. Double Morella Nomicon to kick things off here.
Yeah, not looking towards the Frost Queen's claim at all for both of these mid laners. Of course, a bit of extra cooldown reduction is the added benefit from going for this Morello Nomicon. Wow, Whoosh making that hurt, but the fact they don't have the active on the Frost Queen's claim kind of raises some question marks here for both of these mid laners. What are they looking to do with that 10% CDR bonus? Maybe it's just rune efficiency they're both running for here.
Yeah. Could be. As we see continued battles here in that mid lane. Icon going to go over and get himself the blue buff. As it Quan very lovingly donates that over. But Xiao is still applying that pressure. Need to see Large Rod is in the inventory as well, so with level 11 just being kicked in as well. He's starting to hurt. Lupa once again getting aggressive, but not a whole lot going on here in top lane, unfortunately. Just a bit of farming as both the Nautilus and the Poppy getting tankier and tankier.
Actually quite a cool trade to watch with Lupa here. Auto attack animations on Jiang's Nautilus is an extended period of time, to say the least. It lets Poppy get the second rotation of that Q out and win every trade, essentially.
MLXG running back off to Harold. Getting a bit of extra protection there. Is, I think, scouting more than anything else. As they actually have had Whoosh once again moving with Marta to this top lane. They do want to take another outer turret. They're actually down on total structures here in this game, but OMG doing a good job following the very speedy Misfortune around, making sure they don't lose anything for free, and have opened themselves up some nice bit of space. But right now, at about 7 minutes of farming, to be honest. Everyone just powering up, looking towards that 20-25 minute mark mid-game that we've become oh so accustomed to, it feels like, in the first few weeks.
Yeah, we're looking towards the Rod of Ages to be done here by MLXG. Opting towards Boots of Lucidity, though, before going for that is a crazy decision from this guy, getting that cooldown reduction. No RNG.
Could be trouble here for Xiang. Hook does get flashed. And that is going to turn that gank off. Xiang still staying safe here, but I like what RNG are doing. They're staying very proactive around the map. I did make a joke about the Boots of Swiftness, but they are very quick around this map. And it seems like OMG are just being a bit too reactive in the first 18 minutes or so.
They're using the Boots of Swiftness effectively. It's still just a good buy, I guess, against the team composition that they're looking to be hopefully winning their game against, you would assume. A Rapid Fire Cannon as well is the choice here from SMLZ. Didn't go for the Infinity Edge. Decided to get that extra range on his auto attacks. That says to me maybe sieging is the emphasis, an earlier power spike. But both of these teams, again, looking towards earlier power spikes. We've got Morello Nomicons as an example and an Abyssal Scepter on his Lulu.
Yeah, well, finally had to leave top lane alone, so Whoosh by himself. Actually going to take out that outer top lane turret. Will be a trade, of course. So OMG will continue to stay ahead in towers and very barely in gold. So it seems like RNG is playing a bit more efficiently around this map right now.
Yeah, they really are. OMG, they're trying to be active with their moves, but they just don't move as swiftly as RNG at all.
Horrible puns aside, yes. Absolutely true. Xiaohu does eat pretty meaty glitter lance there. As, like you mentioned, the Abyssal has been completed, so will be quite powerful. Nice and early into this game. And Dragon and Baron both coming up relatively soon. But Dragon's probably the one we want to watch out for, as have swept this brush. No vision here for OMG. Oh, Braum does check it. He's going to get collapsed on, but 5 could be just fine there. And once again, just moving in to get some vision by the looks of things.
Yeah, vision aside, they know exactly where you are. As Rift Herald not doing anything for RNG right now. That's just wave clear effectively. And OMG, they've settled the game down to a pace that they're okay with, because the outer turrets have now fallen, and they even traded those outer turrets. So all of the pace that RNG are putting into effect, all of the rotations that they're making across the map, they're not really getting what they want from it. In saying that, power spikes across the board here for RNG. If you want to look at the Rod of Ages for MLXG, the Luden's Echo as well for Xiaohu. So they're very capable of now skirmishing and fighting, which is where their team comp excels.
Certainly is. And you have to think with blue buff being donated and Dragon being up in less than a minute, RNG are more than happy to take the fight here to OMG in what's been pretty close to 20 minutes or so of this game. Infinity Edge also done for SMLZ. Really give them a whole host of power. Once again, Lance is being taken. Continued pressure here from RNG, but by the looks of their movements, it's pretty obvious where they want to go here. It is actually that Dragon as SMLZ does find a pink ward.
This could be a very early 5th Dragon game here for RNG. The Baron is actually where they're working towards. You have to question that decision, of course. Just controlling the area maybe before they go back down to the Dragon. Or maybe cheesing.
Have some time here, but might even look to pressure top tower. Although quite a number of furious pings there from OMG, I believe, who can definitely sense that RNG, were maybe trying to set up a dive. But this is going to prompt a response here from OMG as they'll stroll themselves down mid lane. But Xiaohu's off to the side with a flank, might be looking for a pick here.
They're about to, SMLZ is about to face check him.
Uh-oh, that's a dead SMLZ. Goodbye, Xiaohu. He's going to get away with that one. Very good positioning now as Looper also looks in for the flank. This could be bad news here for OMG. They're down a member, and now they're going to get flanked on by Looper. Great ulti there out onto 2. Ulti out from Wush as well as he does get exhausted. But RNG on the chase here, continuing to follow through. Looper keeps moving on. That's going to be the Graves going down.
Good hook.
Lands onto Jiyoung. Fox is there as well. Needs to lock him down. The ulti's out there from Nautilus as he tries to disengage as Looper just goes straight in there. The wild growth finally used, but 5 now. The next target is RNG. They'll take the tower and possibly the kills with them. MLXG gets so he will go down to Jiyoung, but Jiyoung will pay for it with his life. Icon now getting aggressed on a Xiaohu dives in. MF with the ace and the triple.
And RNG on the back of Xiaohu's clever positioning get themselves basically that ace. Of course, SMLZ back up before it can be. That is big for RNG. They don't need to force the Dragon. They skirmish, which is exactly what they were looking for. They get an advantage from the skirmish, and then they team fight. And that's all on the back of Xiaohu's positioning.
Yep, big break there in the mid lane for RNG as they take 2 turrets. They're going to see this one again.
Now Looper does hit an amazing ultimate there to knock 2 of the members up. Wush getting exhausted was big, because it gave OMG another opportunity into this fight. Jiyoung's ultimate actually knocking up that many people gave Icon a chance to put down some damage, but Looper is just so tanky that he does not regard the towers as a thing. He's still tanking that turret, just standing still, letting Wush, letting Xiaohu go. They find the ace. Fantastic work here from RNG.
Oh, we do have a pause. So, interesting way to end what was a nice dramatic moment there. But RNG looking good and ahead pretty substantially now in gold, about 3,000 up as you have a pause just before the 23-minute mark.
What a weird time to come back to a pause.
Yeah, probably a good time after a replay.
It wasn't a bug, it was an ace. Let's just cement that fact, right?
They're still struggling with the concept.
I mean, yeah, look, RNG, they're the side that were coming into this game and they should be winning. OMG's actually given it to them quite nicely. But this is the point of the game where you feel like experienced shot calling or effective shot calling comes into play. And Marta has kind of just put into overdrive again. His positioning around the map, Xiaohu's side, has been pretty big.
Yeah, we are back into the game, of course. So nice quick pause there, as RNG are going to move themselves out of the base after a nice win there in that mid lane. 4 turrets to 3 now, so again, vaulting ahead in goal, but most importantly, plenty of open space in the middle of the map to work with. Now, Dragon is going to get started up by MLXG as well, and Loop is still in that bottom lane. Doesn't have his TP, but is nice and close to most of his teammates. And MLXG, once again, happy to solo this out. Level 12 Nidalee with a 3-stack roll and another needlessly large rod on top of it. More than capable here, and that's Dragon number 3.
You have to say, though, the clock's ticking.
Yep.
For OMG.
Oh my god, Looper just doesn't care, gets the knock up there. SMLZ could be in
tried
trouble.
the jump.
Rocket jump doesn't work, has to flash out instead. Looper going to keep chasing, and SMLZ is kiting back nicely. But Looper, you can see, Poppy, that anti-carry, can really nail down something. Even Tristana can't get out of that.
Once you get the Iceborne Gauntlet, Looper's Poppy starts to become frightful, to say the least. Of course, stopping the jump from Tristana was big. They're going to get this turret as well. And the only mistake that Looper made there was trying to use his dash to knock Tristana into a wall. Instead, knocks her next to the base gate.
Yep.
Said, see you later.
Thanks for the lift. And SMLZ probably happy to be alive there. You do see Whoosh in that mid lane, just clearing out some minions, but has IE done as well. So not too much attack speed here, but this is pretty common of Misfortune builds. You just pop that W, get those autos in, and use those spells to really dish out the hurt. Make no mistake, Whoosh is doing a pretty good amount of damage at 4-0-2 here at 24.5 minutes in. OMG are trying to respond to this top half of the map and reclaim some vision around Baron. Marta, very cheeky, sitting there in the red buff, but does get himself warded out. But the advantage is building here for RNG. It just feels like they're one step ahead. Their movement, once again, has been very clean in this opening game.
It definitely has been. They move with conviction, RNG. They know exactly what they want to take. MLXG has been basically soloing every single dragon. Looper, he knows when he can fight the Tristana as an example because of the vision that's been put in place here from RNG. And across the board, even with the scoreline of Xiaohu, he's done his part for this team and gotten them back into a commanding position nearly. They're so close to it. One more fight and you just feel like the balance is completely tipped away from OMG.
Yeah, this game will not take a lot to break wide open here. So OMG have to be extra vigilant, make sure they keep their vision up around the Baron. No Dragon to worry about for about 4 minutes or so, so plenty of time there. As Looper going to return back to the bottom lane with his teleport this time and continue to be a menace. We already saw what happened versus SMLZ, and Xiong's probably not going to die too quickly, but I don't know if he can stop Poppy either.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop the Poppy at this stage, and that's the dangerous thing to consider here. SMLZ needs to live, and they need to kill Looper in these fights to have any opportunity to win. But the real issue there is Looper's the only tank, but he's built full tank and still does enough damage to threaten SMLZ's health. Needs to bring the attention of at least 2 members of OMG, and then you've got MLXG, Xiaohu, and Whoosh, who can just hard carry the rest of that team fight and pick off the other targets.
Yeah, we haven't even seen. Marta goes in for a very aggressive play. Ulti out there from 5 as he does get hooked up. Damage is in there as MLXG chucking spears there. Lantern out from Whoosh is going to get chased as Marta will receive the knockup. But Looper back around the side there. He's going to go in, and that's Icon already dead. And it's just carnage here. SMLZ will pick up Marta on the other side, but the damage is too much here. RNG set up a nice fight. Whoosh is low, but he pops those heals, and Nidalee there able to help out as well. And now everyone else is back over the wall. Xiong, the last one left alive here for OMG, although 5 did manage to escape somehow. He's also getting chased. Who's going to be the first one to die? MLXG will chase down the support. Spear will land, but that will not be a kill, although that turret doesn't look good. Nautilus will die. 5 will follow, and RNG collect another ace.
They pick themselves up that ace, and now RNG can move towards that Baron with no hesitation. Very easy for these guys to take in the team fighting. It's similar to what we're seeing from Xiaogu one more time. It's just once it hits the team fight stage, the teleport flanks are great, the engages are great, and RNG, they find themselves an easy objective and a massive lead now.
Yeah, super fast Baron there. Marta will be alive to collect it as well. And everyone's going to empowered recall back to bases. Let's watch this again.
Marta engaging wasn't actually great because he pulls 5 back in. They poke him down, and Whoosh gets ulted. But the Lantern from Marta, it just happens every single time. He's in the perfect position. The flank from Xiaohu, the flank from Looper, and MLXG kiting his way around these fights just makes it so easy for RNG to clean up. The heal and the Nidalee heal is enough to keep Whoosh alive. And then it just becomes a game of cat and mouse where target selection comes into play. 5's going to go down to MLXG, and Whoosh helps the rest of his team secure that Nautilus of Xiang. And it's just easy cleanups here.
And still time for the Baron at the end as well. No problems at all for Royal, never give up. They're going to start charging down the top side. Tier 2 is pretty much dead. Although OMG are actually in here to defend it. And Lupa still has his teleport. He ran for that flank. I didn't even notice that. That is very strong movement from Royal.
Yeah, and this really sets RNG up for success. For so long, Xiang's not going to have his teleport available. Having the Baron buff there, the poke that can come out of RNG is great. The counter engage by having Marcha there is going to be wonderful. And I don't know if they have an answer to Poppy existing. The question is, where is Lupa going to focus? Because realistically, he's their one tank.
He is. He's definitely a caution here for RNG. Mata is building tanky, but doesn't get too much gold as a support, so isn't going to last for too long. Xiaohu and Lupa again. The dynamic duo take out Icon. He's really been the target of all this aggression. Nice ulti in there as well. SMLZ firing away, but he just can't do enough here to Lupa, who is so unbelievably tanky. 5 gets low, but doesn't die as a spear lands in onto the grave. Xiaohu going to take out 5 as well, and this base is just in pieces now.
It is entirely in shambles. RNG not even looking for other inhibitors. They're just going for the Nexus.
Ulti out from Xiang trying to stop it. Boxes up there to try and defend. SMLZ gets blown up by LPL. Quan's not going to live for too much longer either. Resist Italy is on the hunt. Xiang's going to get pounced back on as he collects the double. And this game's over. RNG going to burst straight through the front door. Game ends in under 30 minutes and they're still on form.
This is an oppressive RNG. It's something you're not used to seeing from any team in the LPL to this extent. They're controlled. They make effective map movements. And every single thing that they do just feels like it's in the right direction. They rarely make mistakes.
And on the other side, OMG, a decent start. The new mid laner Icon stepping up there in the first few minutes of the game. But once again, it's the same OMG problem that we seem to see. Players are perfectly talented, but they just can't work as a team together yet. And you know what, Rusty? Your teamwork is not going to get much better if you change your roster every single week.
No, it's really not. OMG, you have to give credit, of course, Icon finding himself 2-0 up against Xiaohu with 1 solo kill. That's a big deal, but going straight from that solo kill
Oh my god, Xiaohu.
to getting destroyed from the LeBlanc anyway is amazing work here. As we're going to see this particular fight that was so game-changing as Xiaohu bursts out Icon again. MLXG is very good with these spears, and Lupa, there was no stopping this.
Not at all. Lupa and Xiaohu actually sort of stood out to me here this game. Lupa's been playing fantastic every game. But we talked about Xiaohu being kind of the, I guess, the other support in some ways, the facilitator for his team, if you will. Playing an aggressive champion there on LeBlanc, but him and Lupa, every flank, every position, they were just always on the right targets, at the right time, in the right fights. That's a show of good team play from RNG.
It definitely is, and the ability to be in the right place with 2 people flanking is the most unique and amazing feature of this. Is usually you'll have, say, the teleport from the Poppy to look for that flank, but what they're doing is getting LeBlanc with Poppy. They're putting them even in that last push together in the middle lane to assassinate Icon one more time on the Lulu. RNG, they just look near unstoppable.
Yeah, it's almost like we reverted like many, many years ago at this point because Icon didn't get to use his ulti. LeBlanc does not silence anymore. He just died.
Yep, straight up, the burst was too real and Lupa's so aggressive.
Certainly is, and we'll see if that continues for RNG as they are up a game. Can they continue their undefeated streak or OMG bite back and force a game 3? Jogo 2-4-0.